I think maybe even Dirty Jersey Rat. Dirty Jersey. Yay! I love that
This
song.
is a guy who, I personally, there was a time where I might have had a couple problems with this guy, but over the
I've never had a
past few years, him and I have gotten along a lot better. It's Stevie Lew.
I'm a loser. I'm a Stevie
What's
loser.
up, Stevie? Here, we'll put you like this. Oh my! Wait, what are we? Oh my God! Is that what we're doing?
Sorry, no, I'm just reporting live from Hackamania here. Hold on 1 second.
What? You're at Hackamania? Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we do here.
That's what they do in Hackamania. I get it. You're hilarious, man.
Hold on. Sorry, hold on. I gotta take a second from doing that and do one more thing.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay, I'm back to it. Right.
That's what's going on.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, is that so? That's your assessment of what? Oh, sorry. What Hackamania actually is all about, huh? The drugs and the blowjobs.
That was my costume contest. I was doing a Hackamania participant.
That's hilarious. So how you been, man?
All right, guys. What are we doing tonight?
We are, well, if you see behind us, we're covering some of the aspects of Bobby Tamburro and Friends out in Oneonta, New York. They're doing a comedy show. Jim Grindle is being the host of the show, although Jim has been doing whippets and drinking shitloads of coffee, so I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Sounds like a proper green room experience.
Well, that's true. Stevie here has some experience actually being on stage doing comedy and hanging out with people who are comedians. And, just tell us a little bit about that, your experience doing comedy.
Oh, that sucks. No, I got a question, Stevie Lew.
Oh, here we go.
No,
Okay.
This is what comedy was like doing it for a while. It was like this. It was like this. It was like,
okay, well, I guess he knows. And actually, Stevie here actually knows the headliner of the show, Bobby Tamburro, I would say pretty intimately, right?
Very well. Yeah, Bobby and I are buddies, I would say for sure. He's one of the few guys in the whole comedy scene that I consider an actual pal because we go back to the whole East Side Days show. I feel like, Luke, you were down in the studio for the final In Hot Water show, and that was around the era when I was allowed back in the studio. Graciously. So if I wasn't working with Bobby on the East Side Dave show, we were doing his game shows, his interactive cannabis and drinking game shows, and then he even did like a little skit show, Bobby's World. There, I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, that's right. That was awesome. That show, I remember that, and I was kind of, that was one of the things that I hated about Compound kind of shutting down, because Bobby was doing like interesting stuff with that. He was actually trying to there was he had those like Hispanic guys, like they were like a comedy troupe or something, and they would do like a panel, but then they would have some skits and things like that. I mean, different types of comedy.
But yeah, exactly. Again, I'm not trying to, this is all in hindsight, so maybe my memory is not 100% clear on some of this stuff, but I thought early on when we did the East Side Dave Star Wars Spectacular, very early on at Compound, before Bobby Tamburro was around, this was like year one, literally, of Compound Media, I want to say. We did that East Side Dave Spectacular, and I thought that was like a sign of what the studio could be used for, doing interactive backgrounds, doing bits and skits. I personally thought that a literal Saturday Night Live, like rip off Saturday Night Live's exact format and just make it Compound Media Night Live, back in the early days of Compound when they had a lot of people still wanted to be involved. I think there was maybe something there, and it would have been a big undertaking, and I don't think anyone there had like the skill to pull all of. It's like a phrase I love is it's like herding cats. Sometimes, trying to get
Yeah,
all of these comedians together and on the same page to maybe
definitely.
rehearse skits and then record skits. You do have to kind of like rehearse this shit. It's not easy just to go and do acting a comedy skit out just on the fly, man. It's just the
No,
nature of the beast.
Now,
that's a great idea. Really, but like you said, it's almost impossible dealing with comedians or bands or anybody that's doing like live entertainment type stuff. These people are hard to nail down. That's why I'm trying to make it a point to be as I'm not like professional. I'm not even fucking monetized on YouTube, but I try to be professional as possible, to be on time, to do things,
Right.
and like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, even if
100%.
even if it's something like considered small time, because
yes.
you build relationships like that. So
Well, and that's the thing. I'm glad to hear that from you actually, because now that we're talking about the Dabbleverse and a little bit, and to me, that's the problem with a lot of people in the Dabbleverse. They have never actually been in entertainment, or like they wanted to. Maybe they thought about it for many years, and they thought that maybe listening to radio and reviewing things or whatever brought them into it. But when you actually are a performer and you want to have good quality. You want to at least lift yourself up, because you're like, hey man, one day I might actually be a peer with some of these people, right? So if you don't have that mindset, then you don't mind going around and completely trashing people, going around and trying to dox people because maybe they didn't give you the shine that you wanted,
yeah, and
And
plus it boils down to what KB says all the time: the best ability is availability. You got a show going on, just fucking show up and do it. Is it
yep.
really that hard? Just do it.
2016 podcasts weren't really what they are today yet.
Mhm.
I feel they were getting there. Podcasts were around and happening, but they weren't as widespread just quite yet. So I mean, if you even think about it, guys like Shane Gillis weren't mainstream yet. We have to travel back in time to 2016 and remember what the entire atmosphere and world was like back then, to really think of that idea coming to fruition. I don't think it could
And
happen this day anymore. Like that whole network of people are all gone. Aaron doesn't talk to Geno.
no,
Pat punched Geno. Anthony moved to South Carolina.
Honestly, it's the funniest thing he's ever done. I don't know if you guys love Pat or not. It really doesn't matter to me, but I thought that's really the only funny thing he's ever done in my book. So get well.
Well,
well,
I had a great idea. Like you could do like the golden era of Compound, which would have been arguably like from 2015. Like maybe you can even go back to like 2014, the end of when it was at Anthony's house, to the beginning of the new studio. Like if you just bottled up that like year and a half, 2 years, that would be a cool movie. It would be actually a really cool movie. Like Anthony and Danny Brand, that shit happened during the very early on. And like
yeah.
fucking Sandy Kane getting the seat pulled out from under her and her suing them and all that shit. Like there was a lot of wild fucking shit that happened early on. But then my thing is that at the very end, how like in Stand By Me, they're like, Geno went on to marry Keanu, and it's like Pat Dixon went on to punch Geno in the face and then fled to South Carolina. It's like you have
That's
those little like
hilarious.
title cards that go up before the credits, at the end of the movie. Wouldn't that be just wonderful?
Don't
I
heckle.
think I
Jay.
think Jimmy Grindle was inspired by the Rodneys fiasco that I know he was in attendance for.
Mm.
And not every comedy show is like that, Jim.
You
I
almost
hope
got in a
you.
street fight with the Duke, bro. Were you like, holy shit? It was like almost
Holy
getting
shit.
involved with a bear in the
Dude,
woods.
I've never heard someone say it like that, but that is hilarious. I almost got into a street fight with the Duke.
I watched a clip of one where you, Luke, and Jim were guests on Geno's show,
Yeah, that
and
was the
Yes.
last in hot water with. Well, it's funny. That was the last in hot water with Aaron Berg, but then he didn't show also.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he
yeah.
wasn't there.
But yeah, just like, and the only reason why that's memorable to me because, like you guys had mentioned my name to Geno, and I remember like Geno kind of dismissed it, and I was like, it doesn't matter. He now knows who I am now. And I'm like,
Well, I
holy
mean,
shit.
that was hilarious, but honestly, that was one of many hilarious moments that day.
Yeah.
Luke, I'm sure you were there,
Hmm.
and you were also high out of your mind.
Oh no,
I
And
was.
they
the
were
person to
both
blame
high.
was me because it starts off kind of a mess with Gino drunk, you guys high, and then Kevin Brennan shows up and goes fucking nuts. He goes just off and he calls you, or first Bob Levy shows up and starts kind of saving the show, but then Brennan comes in and he's fucking enraged by you guys because you guys were just kind of a little
Well,
out of it,
You do that
we
to our
And
leader, Luke? To
well
my
no no
leader?
we bumped him because we were actually booked for the show. We were booked as guests for that day, and no one knew that it was going to be Aaron's last day until like what 2.5 weeks before it happened.
yeah, that's
You
about right.
know, so and then Gino was like, "Well, we're going to honor the fact that we made them the guests." So Kevin Brennan is sitting there talking, and Gino's like, "All right, Kevin, get out of here. We got these guys." So we bumped, we bumped Kevin from the last In Hot Water show, which is goddamn
But
hilarious.
then yeah, like he
Uh,
stuck around, and then like the clip goes on to
Anthony's
Anthony.
show, right? Yeah,
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 and
yeah,
then like he starts going off on Gino, and then you guys catch some strays. I think
yeah.
that's when like the two house painters from Jersey. That was
Bob
Bob.
called
Yeah,
in and he said, "Hey, who the hell are those guys? They look
yeah,
like two South Jersey house painters."
yeah. That's
Dude,
totally
that was a
reminded me of
wild
that.
show because the fact that I had been up there a couple of times now, and yeah, so we'd been up there. I'd been up there playing with my band. I went up there another time when I brought CDs to them, and that day Gino wasn't there, and I was like, "Hey, maybe I could I could replace Gino." And that was when Gino was sick. And it was right before the roast of Gino, where afterwards people got sick and supposedly a fan might have got COVID and
YouTube terms of service.
yeah, that kind of stuff. And then yeah, but the day that it was the last Aaron Berg in Hot Water it was so special because so many people were there in that room. Like the who's who of Compound was watching that show. You had Pat was there, Chrissy was there, Stevie Lew's there, me and Jim are there,
I
Marshall
think
Beaupre,
Marshall Beaupre was probably there.
yep, and his girl.
Lindsay.
Who else? Bobo was there.
The
Big
black
A
girl
was
that
there.
stole all the stuff
Was
out of Compound was there, right?
probably Big A would have been there.
Yeah, Big A was there. Yeah. What was that, Huge?
The black girl that stole everything at Compound was there that night too, right?
No, not that night. Not that night. But she could have walked right in. I mean, that was the thing about Compound. You could for most of the time, you could kind of just knock on the door and just open it up and walk in. And good thing they're not there anymore because people would just start doing it.
Early on, there was a door code that used to have to. It used
Oh,
to be locked, but then I think they got like lazy of having
yeah.
to go and open it up all the time, and they just or it got disabled and they never fixed it. But there used to be a door lock. The reason why I know that is because Garrett and I went up to the studio once before a fish show at Madison Square Garden, right around the corner. So it was
Oh.
like a Friday night fish show, and like the compound was closed. All the shows were done. They were closed on Fridays. That was famous sort of thing. Anthony would never stream on Friday.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do shows on Friday. So like there was a show at MSG. We were right around the block. Like it gets crazy before the show. We had some time to kill. I met up with them, and we were like, "Yo, let's go roll some joints and then smoke them," because we had a little smoke spot.
Well, you're gonna roll some
So
and not smoke them.
yeah, right. Well, I mean, the fish show, you might, yeah. I'm gonna split hairs here. You are right, Doctor.
Oh, duh. And I'm being stupid because Kish was there as well. He says right here, the famous In Hot Water show,
Kish
where
was
I
there
pick.
too.
Yes,
Wow.
where I pick up the abacus and hug Geno at the end. Yeesh. My clothes still smell like Jameson and failure. Yeah, Kish. Kish is one of the people that Geno kind of, turned on a little bit. And he turned on me at one point.
I don't know him. I don't trust him though. Still, just from watching.
You haven't lived until Geno's turned on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Dr. Huge, you have a thing. You like.
I told you on one of your international Rangoons that.
Yeah.
Geno, I don't think it's funny. I don't like the headband. I don't like the nonstop talking and stuff. Listen, he could be a good guy in real life. I'm sure he is. I'm sure we would get along at a bar and stuff like that. But as far as comedy, remember you were asking me at the top of the show, like, what's my comedy inclinations and what do I like and what am I into?
Mm-hmm.
That's the type I'm not into at all. And that annoys me because after a minute, it's white noise. Literally.
Yeah.
Tell us why Geno stinks, Stevie. Why do you think he stinks?
No. Me and Geno, we've come around again. I think we're in good terms right now. So.
All right. You think do you like the catchphrase he's got, the N-word? I was about to say it because
I mean, I'll tell you what, Chad Zumach stole that from him recently.
Yeah, no shit.
I ashamedly was there on the screen when that happened, and
that's
was,
right.
One of the more explosive moments of my entire podcast.
You know what? I got it. I'll give Chad a pass on it. I get it. Jesus. I'm not coming for you or anything like that. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm from a place where you get your
punched in the face.
It's pretty hard if you say that word around a lot of people. So, I definitely have a very keen understanding and respect for that situation.
Well,
do everything in my power to respect that, and listen.
Chad doesn't rule. Sorry,
if I stub my toe, I might start hollering some very interesting stuff, but I never try to use it as a pejorative term to somebody.
Well, and it's interesting because Chad using it didn't. I mean, supposedly he was
one bit. It was entertaining. I got what he was doing.
Yes,
even while it was amazing.
But the problem is, it's broadcast to so many people, and there are so many people who have it out for Chad.
Yeah, they weaponized it. You could say that.
Yes,
they weaponized it,
and he should have. In his drunken stupor, he should have realized that him doing that is going to do what it did for Geno and get you certain stages you're not going to be on anymore because people are like, that
wasn't for the normies, Luke. That wasn't for the idiots and the stupid people. That was for us that understand what's going on, right?
I thought it was hilarious too.
More than being milk fucking toast or whatever on these podcasts and things.
With all due respect, I hear you and you're not wrong about that, but I will say this. If you watch closely and you really pay attention, maybe too closely, I'll admit, he said today, I'm 27 days sober right now. I'm going on a little run. Well, if you count back, the little tirade that he had was 27 days ago.
Yes.
So
yes.
Right now he's on this little sober streak. So as much of this was performative and little baby want to get his cookie and shout, he also has personal internal demons. I truly believe at this point that he struggles with more than others, and sometimes I think he can be clearly his own worst enemy, and do I think Chad is like a racist guy? No, you know.
No. He's got Godfrey.
Enemy. Come on.
Because he knows Godfrey. You think
Yeah.
that's
You say you know Godfrey, and that's the proof.
yeah, wait, Luke, is that why you keep Dr. Hughes around? Is that what's
Of,
going on
that's
here?
right.
of course. Like, well, I don't know anymore. No.
I get it. I'm not Robin Quivers, motherfucker.
How does Stevie Boo look like a 65-year-old? This is Crumb Bum. Hey, Crumb Bum.
Yeah. No, I'm an old man. I've lived a crazy life. I tell you, it just ages you.
And
You know.
and again, you know, he hits a little harder, you know, in the next one. It's
God.
Stevie the comedy guru. Shut up, stupid.
Yeah.
And then actually this one, Crumb Bum, Geno was never on O&A. That is not true. Geno was part of the car crash comedy. Jimmy brought him in one time. And one time. And he didn't come in as a full-fledged guest, but he was there for them to be like, look at this mess, which is
he was on Ron and Fez also. He famously crashed
oh, yeah. Actually, recently, yes, that, you know, and that's one of the things where I think when I was kind of, you know, me and Geno, I guess, are on okay terms now. I don't hate him. I don't think he hates me. I was just pissed off that he thought that I was being disingenuous with him. I was on his show and like literally he says, you know, I had Lucas on the show. This is after Aaron Berg wasn't on the show again. He like almost probably 10 months after the last In Hot Water with Aaron Berg. He's like, hey, you want to come on again? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I go, but I couldn't, you know, with my life and stuff, I just couldn't get to New York that day. So I did it from my house. But I had been doing, you know, podcasts. So I was like, yeah, I'll just
explain, get to it.
Well, and he asked me about the band, and I said, and seriously, at the time, the band wasn't doing much. It was just like, you know, not much, but I'm doing these shows. And he was like, oh, he's being so disingenuous with me. He's like, you know, oh, no, don't talk about my man. Talk about my, you know, my podcast where he's being a wrestler and he's saying shit about me. And that's what Geno hated about Grindle and I, is that we started to notice that In Hot Water had changed so much that we were like, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan anymore. You know, he's talking about sports all the time. He's like that stuff that wasn't part of the curriculum or whatever, or part of what they did there. And it was like, and once we had done that, it was over. Fucking, he hated us. And then he supported some people. And actually, at the time, Stevie was part of the group that he like championed over us. And you know, anyway, it was all messy and stupid.
Jesus, man.
Compound fact: while Pat Dixon was still doing Crime Report at Compound, he was tutoring Bobby with his stand-up and his jokes. Pat also worked with Mike Figs. They would both tell you that. Oh, so yeah. 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 Stevie doesn't like that Pat Dixon helping Bobby.
Maybe. I don't want to call Mr. Kish, who's a very well-respected person in my eyes, misinformed or anything like that. So
check me out, Kish.
He might know more than I do, but what is a comedy? What did he say? He mentored him or something?
He was he was helping him with his jokes. He was being a mentor for him, which, I mean, you know, Pat was in the scene, and he at the time a little more than Bobby. You know,
Yeah,
Bobby.
I mean, listen, man, I don't find Pat
tutoring. He says tutoring,
or even like he was kind of standoffish in general, man. I hate to say it, not trying to scumbag him.
Oh, really?
You know,
like he just kind of wasn't really mixing with people like that?
He kind of liked to beat to his own drum and was like a little antisocial, I felt, in a certain way, you know? And he also, from my experience, kind of had like that pecking order to things where
I see. Yeah.
I'm a full-time
like he's like
guy.
right under Anthony. Oh, in Compound and in comedy, you're saying. Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's take Compound out of it. You know, I think Pat was always a very and again, I don't want to try to make it sound like I'm trying to go after Pat right now. he was kind of more like a gatekeepy kind of guy. But listen,
Oh.
maybe if him and Bobby had a thing going on because Bobby was always at Compound as a,
Bobby.
intern and then producer, and Pat was always, I mean, not always, but he was often at the studio, whether it was his night or day for his show or not. He would be at the Compound studio hanging out every once in a while. I mean, so would Barry Ribs. So would
Yeah.
I would pop through all the time. It was
Now,
a bit of a
and I wanted to get back to this for a second because you'd mentioned Shane Gillis, and yeah, so Charles, Shane Gillis.
Yes, I do.
So he was doing a show on Compound for quite some time, right?
Really?
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
was.
As a matter of
What
fact,
was?
I'm pretty sure when he got the deal for Saturday Night Live, he like asked Compound to take all of his episodes off the internet, and they did for him
Oh, what
because
was
he
the
didn't
name of
want
that
them.
show that
They
he
didn't
did?
want him having his episodes available, for
Yeah.
for shit, and then they ended up
Dropping
getting them
those N
for
bombs.
something else
Hmm.
anyway.
I don't know if he did N bomb. Yeah, probably a bunch of F bombs. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But
I think
he.
I think at that point it was just like, hey, I'm about to go on to Saturday Night Live. Can you just unassociate me completely with Compound? Just take me out of the
Honestly,
archives.
is that not like obvious? Like that's the obvious thing to do, right? If you're going for you're
Yeah, because
into the
like
beast system.
he had stopped doing a show at Compound before the SNL thing, so it wasn't like, oh, I was doing an SNL
Right.
Compound thing and I stopped it specifically because I'm getting SNL. It was like a year later he got SNL, and then I think he reached out to Compound and they were like, yeah, sure, man, like it's just on our archive. No one was really accessing Compound Media for old Shane Gillis.
Except his enemies.
But that, but that's also true. There probably were some questionable stuff that was said at one point or another, and and F and A's and
Again, I get it, guys. Yeah, we don't have to beat around the bush with any of this. The audience should get it, and even if you say it, they probably won't get it if they don't. Gives a fuck.
I
We
think
got
so.
Barb Marie over Barb
I
versus the
think a
world
few.
over there. We've got Steve Lew on the line. Say hi to Stevie Lew.
Okay, let's do the angle better.
Angle better.
what
Steve,
up? Hello,
to see
hello,
you after our
Bob.
last pod about when Guatemala won, right? Or
That was great.
someone
Yeah, you
won?
did a great job. Thank you.
Yeah. This guy was trying to play the kazoo earlier.
I did a good kazoo song. I did a very good kazoo song. I played the kazoo for
And
this.
I can fly and have magical
It was a good
power.
song.
I need to eat
Yeah,
them.
I'll tell you, man. I don't know how I could handle that whole tomato thing. That was a very hard part of my life. Having to.
You talk to your
I
therapist.
not really sure how I made it, but we got through it.
Yeah, I mean, Charles, every time there was a time where every time Stevie would show up on a show, it would just people in the chat would throw virtual tomatoes at
people in
him.
the chat. I definitely remember seeing Luke of the Vine, as a matter of fact.
It was you,
I
Luke.
feel like you really were quick on the draw with that tomato.
Well, you know what?
Thing.
You know what? Do you remember, Stevie? When I was the fakest, I was the realest Stevie Lew for a while.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was me. That was me.
No,
I
that's
was the
awesome.
fake
That's
Stevie
awesome.
Lew for a long time, and I will tell you
good.
what. I will tell you what. And it's all. I guess it's on the water under the bridge now.
Yeah.
But I like pushed that for a while, man, because every time Steve would come on screen, I'd be like, all right, here we fucking go. And I'd be like, this piece of on my phone.
It made it funny. And then also, it made me, because now, I mean, I'm still the realist Stevie Lew. And the reason why that is because it was just Stevie Lew, and then you spoofed it. And I think other people spoof. I don't think, honestly, you were the only one, but I do understand that you were probably the most prolific. So I went to the real Stevie Lew, and then you made it the real Stevie Lew also. So then I think I made it the realer Stevie Lew, and you did that. And then I got to the realist Stevie Lew, and then I think we kind of maybe came, like, you even realized that, all right,
Well,
this is the
at that
point where else do we go from here? And
at that point, I put fakest. I'm the fakest. I was the fakest Stevie Lew, and I just
so,
I wore it for a while and just
as
rode
annoying and
that.
tormenting as you guys were, it was also kind of, I could see the hilarity in it.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Stevie.
Amazing.
I
Thank you very much.
I paid
You're a tomato.
I paid some prices for this for at how deep I got into shit. You know what I mean? It might not have
Me
been,
too, yeah, bro.
you know,
I feel
so
bad for some of the shit that I've done. You know, I never did
yeah.
anything really negatively crazy, but I just got really like nasty with people for.
We've got some serious talk from Richard here. Go ahead, Charles.
There is no question that Pat had an ego. I worked with him and Zen on Men Are Talking.
So, like Stevie was saying, he thought that Pat Dixon had sort of a snooty way about him. I mean, I don't know Pat, so although I know that I've sort of contacted him and actually sent him some, like, you know, Photoshop type things, like making fun of Geno here and there, and he doesn't really give much back. So I don't know what that means.
The guy radar is supreme. I'm pretty good at figuring out who I should be talking to and who I should be avoiding. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything. I don't know anybody. Could be completely wrong. But when I hear Pat Dixon and he's doing things out here and people are talking about him, I'm kind of like, no offense, Pat. It's just like, I'm just like, why? I don't really get it.
Dirty Jersey. Dirty Jersey rat. Dirty Jersey rat. Dirty Jersey.
You broke my heart, Dirty Jersey. You broke my heart. Mainly by including Granny. That's my main issue.
You know what? You weren't. I know that your ass was not going to bring this up.